Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to be here in this important session, an editor session with Professor Di Mario and Professor Bailey. And we are talking on a topic which is very important, the research. Research not only for important master people as you are, but even for young. So which are the best suggestions for young people that want to be start in important process in research?
Well, it's a very broad question, but what I like to say is that meetings such as this are important to learn a new technique for education, but must also be projected towards research, and especially young interventional cardiologists shouldn't forget that the progress in our technical and clinical environment is strictly linked to new devices, to application of new techniques, and to test them rigorously. So that's research.
Thank you very much. What about?
So research is something that we all do regularly. We do it every day. It's something as simple as asking a question. And I think that so many young individuals feel like research is a very big, powerful subject and that they can't do research. So the first thing is to say to yourself, I'm going to do research and I'm going to share that research. So once you've done that, you've done the first important step, and that is, what question is important to answer? Once you've decided that question, the next step is, how would I go about answering that question? And how do I find an answer that will be important so that when I come to you and share that with you, it's going to change what you do, change how you care for patients, change how you do your procedure. So, is it important? Will it change practice? And then beginning to study how you have to answer that question. And that's tools that we have to learn. We have to ask questions about how we design studies. We have to ask questions about how we get data from that. And then after we have all of that, we have to learn the art of distilling how we think and how we speak into a written manuscript. And that's hard because you have to have critical thinking. It is much easier to write a lot than to write a little bit. And so one of the important learning tools is how to take what you're doing and learn the structure, how to compose. The easiest way to learn that is to begin to review manuscripts. And so one of the keys I would give to somebody that wants to start learning is go read what other people have done, but do it in a way not just where you read the manuscript as it's finally published, but participate in a review so that you see how manuscripts are formed. Manuscripts many times are a little bit like clay. They start out as this amorphous thing. But as you turn the wheel and you build it up and you build the structure, you begin to get a sense of what that can be and what it can become. But it takes this. You have to you have to write. You have to participate.
So, and from a very practical point of view, you also have your great experience as an editor. What are the very important features for a good manuscript? And another question is how to manage a bad revision. That is also a very important point in production of a good paper.
Okay. So, you know, a good manuscript really will follow the points that we started with. And as an editor, that's what I start out looking for. Is it a topic that would be at this meeting? Is it important? Are the people who are asking that question doing it a way, are they using tools that can actually answer the question? So what are their methods and what's their analysis? I then look at how they have constructed the manuscript. Is it, does the abstract share what's in the manuscript? Do the conclusions that are arrived at help develop the discussion? So is it logical? Sometimes you'll see people who say the title is completely unassociated with what's in the manuscript, or their conclusions are not following the data. And so that gets to the second question, because if you're writing, I think I have seen very few manuscripts arrive for review at our journal that cannot be made better. So you always are going to get comments, or almost always are going to get comments back. Reviews can be bad for a couple of reasons. They may be because the person writing the review is a very negative person, and so they share all these negative thoughts. It could be because they see a lot that could be improved, but they share all of that, and so you'll get a very long and detailed review. Do remember that everyone who is reviewing does it basically because they want to help make a manuscript better. That means that someone is donating their time to help you. So when you get that rejection, don't feel rejected personally. Remember that somebody wants you to be better at this. It also means that the editorial team felt like by making it better, that your manuscript is going to get published. And so do reply to the review. So treat it like a letter, and whatever comment is made, comment back, and comment to every point. And if you do that, what you'll find is that always the manuscript will be better, and many times either the journal that sent you the original rejection will accept it, not always, but the next time you send it to a different journal, which can happen, you'll have a much higher probability that journal will find it in a improved state, and probably will accept it. They may accept it right out, but certainly with less comments. So rejection is just part of learning to be better. The more you write, the better you'll write. Soon you'll have a CV that looks like Dr. DiMario's.
So, thank you. And returning to the session of this morning, there was the presentation of best manuscript from a lot of international journals. So a brief comment about production from Italian interventional community. So if you are satisfied, if you think that we can improve in some way, and also a brief comment from Professor DiMario on this topic. So I think.
Yeah, well, let me have Dr. DiMario comment first, and then I'll
Well, first of all, the session we had this morning is really an encouragement for people to submit to major interventional journals. That means being ambitious and design studies and conduct them properly, because these are the original manuscript that will make it. We tried also, since there is a lot of interest, especially from fellows, this year to do something a bit different, and there's also a journal which is specialized in publishing case reports. Of course, there are thousands of case reports that are submitted, and you have to find uniqueness in what you submit in terms of an extremely complex diagnosis or a treatment that is not yet available. I think today was an example. I mean, that incredible pseudoaneurysms with 3D reconstruction, offline, designing and planning your procedure based on that, and then executing exactly the same way. That looks magnificent, I could say. There aren't, of course, many similar cases that you find in your career, but when you do, don't waste them. Use them to your in the best possible way.
And case reports are a great way to begin your career as well, because you learn many of the skills that we talked about before. So it was great that we've been doing this session how long now? 8 years, I think.
In this format it was 5, 6 in fact.
But I think it really does highlight the growth in the Italian community, in their involvement in research. I will say that as I travel worldwide, I think that the enthusiasm, the energy that I get from this meeting is unparalleled. I just don't see that in many other areas, and I think it's in part due to this meeting and what it is bringing to people wanting to accomplish this. From my perspective, the quality of work that's being done now with the collaborative research that's being done within Italy, now within Europe, being led by Italian researchers is just absolutely incredible. When we first started doing this, there were 2 or 3 or 4 manuscripts a year that I think really stood out as being exceptional. The difficulty this year was who to choose, because there were so many. It was no longer a small list. It was many. And I shared earlier today the large number of manuscripts for CCI that came from Italy just this last year. And so I'm incredibly excited about the energy and the productivity that's occurring. And I think it's because people now understand that this is an important part of their career.
So thank you very much for this exciting section. So the principal take-home messages are curiosity, to be power, to have energy, to start even from the simple case reports, to build some of more structured, and to do a lot of review, read, and to accept all even negative comments, because that way young and old people can improve and grow up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to be here.